It's the end of the year, and it's time to talk about my favorite books. This year was probably my worst reading year. I mean, I did get quite a few books read, but I don't know, it felt like a chore to read this year. And I didn't feel like I was actually absorbing anything I read. I literally felt like I was just flipping pages and nothing stuck. But there were a couple books that did. Most of them are comic books. But yeah, so I only have 6 books to show you. And this just shows you how horrible my year is where I only have 6 books. But yeah, let's get started. So number 6, I have Harley Quinn's Greatest Hits. This is basically a comic that they released, I'm pretty sure, to promote the Suicide Squad movie, considering Harley is wearing Suicide Squad outfit on the cover. But yeah, so this basically just has a bunch of random stories from different comics thrown in together that have to do with Harley. I really love this because I want to read more Harley Quinn comics, and so that was enjoyable to me. I had a love-hate relationship with the fact that it was a greatest hits, so they had snippets of different comics because I want to know the whole story. So I hated it because I didn't get the whole story, but I loved it because it makes me want to go find the comics that each story is from so that I can have a better understanding of the whole story instead of just these snippets that were in this one. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. It was a fun read, quick read, loved it. Number 5 on my list is Batman, Mad Love, and Other Stories. This one I mainly got because I'd seen from the animated series, I'd seen the Mad Love episode, so I knew the story, but I wanted to read the comic. And I didn't know that it was even though the title clearly said in Other Stories, I thought the other stories were going to be more Harley and Joker stories, and there is one or two, but most of them are other villain stories and stuff like that, which was fun for me because I'm just now getting into comic books, so it was fun to read stories about these other Batman villains that I know, but never read any comic stories about them, so that was fun for me as well, so yeah. And I did do a review of Batman, which I will link down below. It's in my reviews playlist. Number 4 on my list is Black Canary and Zatanna, Bloodspell. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. I really wanted to read more Black Canary comics this year, and I really wanted to learn about Black Canary through the comics, because I only know Black Canary from the Arrow TV show. And also, that was the other thing I loved about this, is that they actually had Oliver in this comic, so I got to see a little bit insight into Dinah and Oliver's relationship. But the other thing I really loved about this one is I got introduced to Zatanna, and I've heard of Zatanna before, but I've never really knew anything about her, so that was fun for me to not only read more and learn more about Black Canary, but get introduced and learn about Zatanna, and now I'm very interested in Zatanna. I want to read more Zatanna comics. But yes, so I really, really enjoyed this. This was a fun read, a very fun plot. Number 3 on my list is Black Canary Volume 1, Kicking and Screaming. I had so much fun with this comic. This was such a different kind of Dinah for me, because she's the lead singer of a band, but there's all these twists and turns in the story, and that's what I loved. It was very fun, and I think Volume 2 is either already out or it's going to be coming out early next year. I don't know yet, and I can't wait for Volume 2 because it left on such a cliffhanger. But yeah, I loved Dinah's character in this. I loved all the other side characters, and I love the art. The art's probably my favorite thing about the comic. Yeah, just look at that art there. I don't know how well you can see it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was technically my fourth comic I've ever read, and yeah, I'm slowly but surely becoming a fan of comic books and graphic novels, and yeah, I can't wait for Volume 2. I will definitely get it when it comes out, or if it's already out, I don't know. I also have a review for this that'll be down in my reviews playlist in the thingamajig below. Number 2 on my list is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. I read this during the summer when I was on vacation, and I also saw the movie for it. The movie was great, and there were a couple things missing in the movie that were in the book that I thought were really key things in the book, but I understood why they weren't in the movie. But the book is so good. I love the way Jojo Moyes writes these characters, and the dynamics. Like, I love the relationship between Lou and Will, but I also love reading about Will's relationship with his family and Lou's relationship with her family, and just the journey both Will and Lou go on together and, you know, by themselves. It's really fun read. It's a heartbreaking read, but it's still a good read, and I highly recommend Me Before You if you haven't read it yet. And now my number one favorite, I don't know if it's kind of controversial, because I don't know, I think a lot of people liked it, but I've also seen quite a few people dislike it, but we'll see. But for me, it's my number one, and that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, I really had a lot of fun with this, and I don't really understand why a lot of people didn't like it. I know there are the good majority of people that did not like this book, but then again, it's not really a book, it's a play, so I don't know if that might have something to do with it. I do feel like it would be a lot more enjoyable to see, even though I did enjoy reading this, but I think reading this made me want to watch the play a lot more. I really loved Scorpius Malfoy. He was probably the standout character in this. Albus was a little annoying, and so was Harry in this. But all the other characters, Ron, Hermione, you know, they were all really fun to read about. But Scorpius was probably the, like, gem in this story that I just loved so much. But yeah. So this is my number one pick for my favorite book that I read this year. And yeah. So those have been my favorite books that I read this year. What did you think of my list? What was your favorite book you read this year? Tell me down below. Let's discuss. So, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Until next time. Bye, guys.